Okay, so that only took a few seconds, and I just want to be clear that what I said about my mess was not that I'm really cleaning up a mess, is that I value all of the stuff in that box over there. And I had left it over there on the other side. So I brought the box around. I got my new work area staged and prepped. I don't like stumbling and tripping over a cord and falling on my old fat butt. So the only things that I've done is, nothing has changed. I dribbled a little oil right here. I put it on a hole so it'll run down and maybe lubricate something, but that's not its intent. It's so that I can put a little on the bushing as I'm checking bushings. And the first thing I notice is the bushing I put in the other end shows refusal on this end, about an inch inside the lands. Could be a number of things. This being a used barrel, my guess is that it's fire cracking. My guess is fire cracking raises the surface a little bit. Doesn't do anything to pressures. It doesn't do anything. It's so ludicrous. This is one of the things I hope to test when we get, if enough people are interested that we take this to the point where we're actually down on the range or out at it's only 20 feet away over there. It's right out the window. Got all this instrumentation set up on it, and if you want to watch me shoot and take readings, there is so much that's speculated about endlessly around the campfire for years and in living rooms for years and now all over the inner tube about how fire cracking raises pressures, dirty bore raises pressures, everything. Getting too close to the lands raises, too little neck to there's so many fallacies out there that we can sit down, throw the strain gauges on if we want, or just read pressure. Once you see the correlation between pressure and velocity, maybe we'll throw a strain gauge up just to establish a relationship between pressure and velocity and show that we can get all this off the Labrador. We can get all this off of a pressure spike shows us an increase in velocity. That's why it's, that's just one of the few things in this game that really is pretty intuitive. But anyway, not going to change anything for what we're doing, but it's going to require that I use a different bushing. So this might take a minute. I was going to have this cheated and done for you, but it might take a minute. Even though, this will illustrate just what a Scots person I am, even though I have no Scot in me at all. I just grew up being called being a tightwad because I grew up poor. I don't believe in. So anyway, even on this old road style barrel, I'm not going to mistreat it. Well, that one is, it's certainly not much, whatever it is. I shouldn't even be obsessing about this with this doing what I'm doing, but I guess it's hard to do something only halfway. Especially when we're purporting to use it as a training aid, or a learning aid, or a visual aid. What you do with it is all up to you. I'm less trying to teach you anything than just sharing a method that's working with me. I don't have any magic beans formula. Well, just wanted to make sure that my gauge was in the right place. I went one size bigger. Got refusal at a 1/4 inch. So I'm feeling a little bit in between here because the size I think varies a fuzz. This one is tight. Nah, I'm not going to force it. I'm going to go down. Wouldn't be prudent. Prudence is the greater part of valor. Let's see here. So it almost feels like, could be in my imagination, it could be real. But it's a little tighter right out of the throat, and then it loosens up a little. I got Not a lot of play in there, as you can see from me moving this rod. That's side to side. And that's as much, you know. That's. It's not like I have it loose, and this is plenty adequate for getting readings. So that's a given. So we start by cleaning some of the oil off the rod shank proper. Now I'm going to do my rough end, and if I'm lucky and I get a really straight section of bore, this could go pretty smoothly. I'm going to do my rough end by going ahead and pivoting, even though it's further in, too far for me to reach with a dial indicator, although I might be able to get one into a chamber because this one's already chambered. I'm going to go ahead and rough this in by going all the way in that far. Just over an inch away from the lead. And here's where I degreased that, so hopefully the marker will stick. Call it marker, call it Sharpie, call it Texta. I don't care. We may put a black dot right there. We may put a black smear right there. Throw a little yid at you. Okay, so right now this rod is sitting right here on this pivot point. I just learned an interesting thing. I was posting about this on the internet and about how I just nipped the end of it. Chet Whitebread came on and said that he takes that a step further. He takes his bars and he turns a little collar around them and makes like a ball swivel joint. Does the same thing, only he does it better than me. Love that. Okay, so we're tight enough that I'm going to have to be careful. If I hit any of that gunk in there, if I might be coming out, and I might hit that where the throat's been roughened up in the past, and it may well pull right out of the jaws on this tailstock chuck. Don't know. Not too worried about it. Go ahead and lock that down. Right now, I need to go get a test indicator and set it up on here and see if we get some kind of a reading. Let's find out what it looks like. Okay, now I'm going to change something. I've got 7 indicators up there and they're all set up for specific things. I have one set up to go right here, but it's a tiny little dial that faces up and flat, and it's a short. I'm all about the short stems. You get way out here and you're losing. This particular one has tested out pretty good. It's a Tisatast. Don't know that it matters or should matter. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and use this because when I want it shorter, I have a mark on here where I choke up, and that mark means something. I'm not going to share it with anybody, but I have meaningful readings that can be taken from here or from out here where it's designed. This is the probe that came with this unit. So I don't want to get into some kind of a goofy digression about how and why indicators work. I'm just going to try to set this up in a place you can see it on the monitor, if that's possible. I'm not completely sure that that's going to be possible. Oh yeah, you can see it. Can't see it great, but this isn't an instructional video. This isn't about this isn't a proof. This is nothing more than I'm trying to keep stuff out of the way and show a methodology here. Big wobble between the outside of the bore and the inside of the bore. That's the first thing that becomes apparent. So right now we're going to dial that out. Now at this point I'm tightening up, more than anything else I'm tightening it up just to iron those stupid brand new thingies out. I am noticing something that's very, very rare. On new bores this doesn't even happen. There are some irregularities in that bore. This thing is worn down pretty good because I'm not getting a direct correlation. It's not just going like this, it's going, I'm getting a little this, which could mean all kinds of things I'm hitting out here or whatever, but it's just not. The chamber goes clear into here. Right now I'm only into it a little ways. So let's just see if I can get repeatability here. And the cold lathe is not helping. As per usual, I'm getting my furthest reading clear out here, so I'm going to just do a little double adjustment here. Most of the time I just do straight up and straight down. Boy, I'm just getting a lot of jump. I might have to fire this lathe up and get it running for a while, because this temperature differential is killing me. Okay, but I'm loosening back up now, and I'm going to try to loosen it onto a reading. I might have to get inside there and scrub that bore. I never did. I took this barrel right off the rack, and I'm sure it got left clean, but after sitting for the 15 years this thing's probably sat, I think I'm going to go in there and clean it out a little, just scrub it. I'm actually going to do something I rarely do, which is that I'm going to throw I'm actually going to put a brush in there. I'm going to brush this barrel a little bit. Lifted that up off. This is marked. As you can see, it's right there at the pivot point. I'm just going to scrub this out. I'm not used to seeing bouncy readings, but I'm also not used to doing used barrels, so I'm going to have to go in the other room and get some scrubby equipment and clean this and try to get some readings that are linear and good instead of this little bit of shake I had going on.